Hey guys, welcome back again. I hope you guys have a pen or a paper. We are going to do list of words today. Bulkhead is a dividing wall within the aircraft. Bulkhead seat, an aircraft seat in the row immediately behind the bulkhead. Cabin, the interior section of an aircraft that is occupied by passengers and cabin crew members. Cabin attendant, an individual who is trained and certified in emergency like first aid, cabin preparations, and passenger safety duties. Cabin ready, cabin okay. So it means cabin is checked and safe for takeoff. Cardiopulmonary resuscitation, that's also called CPR, is a first aid procedure in which a victim's heartbeat and breathing are manually supported by another individual. Casseroles are hot meals for onto the meal tray. Claim tag is a receipt for passengers for checked-in luggage. Cockpit is also called a flight deck, is the area usually near the front of an aircraft from which the pilots control the aircraft. The cockpit of an aircraft contains flight instruments on instrument panels and the controls that enable the pilot to fly the aircraft. In commercial airliners, a reinforced door separates the cockpit from the aircraft cabin. Crew member, any person who is assigned to perform duties on board an aircraft during the flight time. Cruise. Cruise is a flight pace that occurs when the aircraft levels after a climb to a set altitude and before it begins to descend. Cruising usually consumes the majority of flight, and it may include changes in heading direction of the flight at a constant airspeed and altitude. Cyanotic passenger, a passenger whose skin becomes blue due to lack of oxygen. Demo is demonstration. Descent approach and landing is during the descent and approach landing flight pace. The flight once again becomes rather busy for both cockpit and cabin crew. There's a lot to do, like cabin crew stops service duties and prepares the cabin for landing, while the aircraft often enters busy airspace. Disembarkation is the process when passengers leave the aircraft. Ditching is an emergency landing into water. Embarkation is the process of loading an aircraft with passengers. Flight deck. Please refer to cockpit. Fuselage is the body of an aircraft, excluding the wings and tail. Halon, an extinguishing agent. Jump seat, an extra crew member seat in the cockpit or cabin that authorized personnel may occupy during a flight. Least risk bomb location, also called LRBL, the location inside of an aircraft that will suffer the minimum possible damage from the explosive forces of a bomb. Main deck is the principal passenger's deck of a large aircraft, a deck floor beneath the upper deck. Minimum equipment list, MEL, is a list that details which equipment must be functioning properly in order for the aircraft to be permitted to fly, and which equipment may be inoperative for a specified period of time. Mock-up, a scale or full-size model of a design or device, mostly used for training, demonstration, design evaluation, promotion, and other purposes. Pushback. In aviation, pushback is an airport procedure during which an aircraft is pushed backwards away from the airport gate by external power. Pushbacks are carried out by special low-profile vehicles called pushback tractors or tugs. Sterile cockpit or sterile, whatever you want to call it, the critical pace of flight, which includes all ground operations involving taxi, takeoff, and landing, and all flight operations below 10,000 feet except cruise flights, during which all flight deck communication is limited to operational and safety concerns. Taxi. Taxiing is the movement of an aircraft on the ground under its own power, in contrast to towing or pushback, where the aircraft is moved by a tug. Takeoff. Takeoff is the pace of flight in which the aircraft accelerates along the ground until sufficient lift is generated for flying in the air. Upper deck. The upstairs passenger's deck of a large aircraft, a deck floor above the main deck. So this was it for today.